and welcome to another episode of the Marco Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I will be talking with Maria Grove. We recently connected through a podcasting group, and after chatting for a bit, we discovered that we are both Potterheads, aka obsessed with Harry Potter, and we are both obsessed with organization. So it was a must that I have her on the show. Other than being a Potterhead and having a love for organizing, Maria is a certified professional home organizer. She is not into Pinterest-worthy closets. Her mantra is real people live here, and she organizes for them. She is a wife, a mom, and a certified EMT. She runs a chaotic home full of teens and pets, so she gets it. Let's welcome Maria. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Angel. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Yes, I'm so excited. So today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. But before we get started, is there anything else that you would like to tell my audience about yourself?
I'm a Hufflepuff.
For those of you that don't know, that is a house in Harry Potter. So Maria is a Hufflepuff and I am a Gryffindor, but we still get along with each other. And she is now my new favorite Hufflepuff.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So the first question that I have for you is, how long have you been in entrepreneurship?
So I started my business a little over 3 years ago. I just celebrated my 3-year anniversary in June
Happy
of my
anniversary.
business. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
So before that, I was doing nonprofit work. I was working in the nonprofit realm. And before that, I was a stay-at-home mom. And the reason I got into nonprofits was because my mom passed away from cancer.
Oh,
And I threw myself into nonprofit work as a volunteer and a board member. And then I started getting hired. And then I parlayed that into a career, and I worked in nonprofits for about 10 years total. But, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I actually listened to a recent podcast of yours, and you were talking about your entrepreneurial journey, and you were talking about MLMs. And I was a stay-at-home mom, so I was like actually required to do one as well.
oh wow.
As all stay-at-home moms are, I think
Yes.
we all try it. And so I actually sold Stella and Dot jewelry.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, so it was, really pretty jewelry. And that's kind of how I got my toe into the water of business selling, that kind of thing. It was so not at all anything that I was comfortable with. It was not a successful venture. I think I did it for a few months and I mostly bought all of my merchandise myself. I have some gorgeous jewelry to show for it. I was supposed to do parties. I was supposed to do online events. Yeah, but I learned a little bit. And then, years later, when I opened my own business in organizing, I was able to say, oh, selling isn't actually as bad as everyone says it is.
No, it's actually not. And like, no, nothing against like MLMs or anything like that. But I think it's a different kind of sales than like regular sales is, because usually with regular sales, you have people coming to you. Like if you're a car salesman or a furniture salesman or something like that, you have people that are coming to you. But with an MLM, it's you have to like reach out to people and you have to do, cold calling and stuff like that. So you never really know what you're going to get on the other end. So I completely understand that. So, well, I guess what are we, like alum of MLMs? I don't know. Is
Yes,
that a thing?
exactly. Alum. I like that. I'll go with that. Instead of survivor, I'll say alum.
There you go. I like that one better. We're gonna get some t-shirts or something like that made. So what made you decide to kind of just step out of the nonprofit world and then go into your own business?
So I was very burned out in nonprofits. I was working very hard. I was staying in the nonprofit world, in the world of cancer nonprofits. So it was very difficult to stay in that world. It was, very re-traumatizing all the time to
Right.
stay in the cancer nonprofit realm. And, 10 years. My mom's been gone for 11 years now.
Okay.
So I just said, I think it's run its course. I think I've done a good job. I've given back to the community. I've done some good work, but now it's time to try something else. And I have always been an organized person, and I have always moved my friends. When my friends move houses or apartments, they always hire me to pack them up and unpack them in their new house. And people started saying, Maria, you should really do this for a living. And it was really during the pandemic that I started saying, this could be something that I build a business at. This is something that I could take that step and become an entrepreneur. And I was very much alone in the idea. My husband has worked for the same company for 25 years, and he is not an entrepreneur at all. So I really had to convince him that this was even a possibility, a viable company. And to be honest, it's taken 3 years to grow into a viable company. I am now just kind of really making money, and really have my feet under me and really have consistent clientele. So I'm still glad I've stuck with it. I come with it. I come to it with a sense of growth mindset. I'm a very yes minded person. So I have all the books. I'm definitely someone who lays the groundwork. So like a month that I didn't have a client, I said that's okay. I'll write all my welcome emails, and those will be
Okay.
done that day. And
Right.
so I was always working. There's a great saying. It says work in your business and for your business.
Oh, I love
So
that.
when I wasn't organizing people, I was growing my social media, running my blog, building the back end, learning how to develop a website so I could do it cheaply and not have to pay someone. Things
Yes.
like that. And I don't feel like these last few years were wasted at all in my business. I really felt like I was growing and building my business, and now I'm reaping the benefits.
Oh, that's awesome. And I love that. And I'm gonna come back to that, but before we go too much further, can you tell everyone you kind of talked about it a little bit, but can you tell everyone a little bit more about Bliss This House and what exactly it is that you do?
So, Bliss This House is a professional home organizing company. It's a one woman show. I'm a solopreneur. I go into people's houses and organize pretty much anything that they want. If it's a closet or a kitchen or a pantry or kids' clothes, garage, I've pretty much done it all. Paperwork, I've done it all. I think my favorite thing to organize is a closet. I really love doing a closet and setting up like a capsule wardrobe for somebody, but that's like I think my specialty, but I don't get to do it that often. I pretty much will take on any organizing project. I also do virtual organizing. That was something
Cool.
that I started during the pandemic, and I still offer it. So I can get on a Zoom call with somebody and they can put me on their computer in their closet, and I can talk them through all the steps for organizing a certain space. And so you don't get the benefit of my wonderful lady muscles, but you do get the benefit of my knowledge and my support. It's like, hiring a best friend.
Okay, I like that, and that's awesome. Like I said, I love organization as well, and it's really cool when you can turn your passion into doing something. When you can do what your passion is every day, and you can just be that excited about it and just love it so much. So, and I definitely like the idea of being able to be virtual with it because, again, with the pandemic and just so many things changing, a lot of things have gone virtual. And some people may not think that you can get organized virtually, but you can. So, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, some people just don't want an organizer in their house, even still. They don't want an extra person in their house. They still have the idea of contactless delivery or,
Right.
that kind of thing. So there are people who feel more comfortable hopping on a Zoom call with me. Or I do also teach like good habits around the home.
Oh,
So I
cool.
have a course that you can get online with me for an hour, and I'll go through the course about how to start good habits, and then we identify what habits you need to start, and then I'll walk you through the steps of how to start the good habits, and what habits are the best for you. And that's something we can do online. I mean, I have clients, I live in Connecticut, and I have clients in Virginia, New York, just kind of around the country, and
Okay.
it really works.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's awesome and that's good because with things like going virtually and happening virtually, I think that opened up a lot more opportunities for people and for businesses because like pre-pandemic, you may not have thought about doing virtual things or anything like that. You may have just stuck with the Connecticut area or like the city that you're in, and then that would have limited your customer base. But now you have customers all over, and so you can learn about different cities and their styles and everything like that. So I think the virtual aspect of it is really cool. So,
Absolutely.
and a lot of times people struggle with that consistency when they see things start to decline or go from having a client to not having a client. That's kind of when they get discouraged. So how do you keep yourself encouraged and motivated during that time?
Well, first of all, I would love to make $300 a week. There are some weeks when I don't make any money.
Okay.
But yeah, I try to be creative. Um, I have started doing workshops at local libraries around organizing. And so when I don't have clients like scheduled for the month, I start sending out emails to local libraries and saying, I have this particular workshop that I'd like to offer, and here are the 3 topics that you can choose from that your clientele might be interested in. And it's how to organize your playroom, how to deal with your paper clutter, or how to organize your closet. You guys pick. You can do all 3. I can come 3 different times, or you can pick your favorite one. And then that brings in a little bit of income because the workshop charges a little bit.
Okay. That's what
Um,
I was going to ask if you charge for the workshops or if it was free since it was at the library, but you do
yeah,
charge for
well,
it.
so that's my trick. The first one's free.
Oh,
And then they
okay.
love me so much, they wanna hire me to bring back the other 2,
Okay.
workshops.
Got
And
you.
so that's how I get my foot in the door. And also, that's how I have no compunction sending an email list around to the people who are there and interested in my services,
Okay.
because I'm donating my service as a work in my workshop. So I don't mind sending an email list around saying, if you're interested in my services, people who are attending my workshop, please get on my email list. And so
Right.
then I'm simultaneously growing my email list. And so, yeah, I like to address everything as like a challenge. How can I grow my email list? What can I learn this month about business? How can I grow and make things easier for myself? How can I automate? Yeah, it's exciting.
Okay. That's so encouraging because like I said, when that time happens when you're just like no clients or it's just slow, that's the time where you just want to give up and you're like, why am I doing all this? And you forget about all the progress that you made the week prior or the month prior, anything like that. And so, like you said, just doing those little things, even if you do one thing that's for free, that leads into something that's paid, and then you're growing your email list. And so now those people can possibly become a client of yours or they can refer you to someone else. So what looked like it wasn't maybe worth your time, as some people would say, or worth doing, actually turned out to be great. Even if you get one client from it, that turned into something because you're getting exposure for it. So,
Well, exactly. And I used to work in politics before I got into nonprofit work. I worked in politics for a while, and I got trained in political campaigning. And one of the tenets of political campaigning is that a voter has to hear the message at least 7 times before they identify with the candidate. And so I
oh,
think about that in business. A customer needs to hear your message at least 7 times before they think of you to hire you. So that could be seeing you at a vendor fair. That could be getting your email. That could be seeing your Instagram. That could be seeing your website referral on Google. And then suddenly, when the time is right, they are a warm lead.
Wow. I'm over here taking notes and everything because I'm like, ooh, this is really good information. Like, because there are things that you don't think about. And that's why I like doing these episodes, because everybody's journey looks different and everybody does different things. And if you can help somebody else some way, like, I just think that's great. And so I didn't know about the 7 times before, the 7 times that they need to see you. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
sharing
Oh, you're
that.
welcome. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a tenet of political campaigning, but I really feel like it works in business as well. Like a customer needs to hear from you. You need to build that know, like, and trust factor so much. And so I worked with a business coach, a really great business coach. Her name is Allison Nelson. And she really helped me stay niche down in organizing. I was off. I'm like, I'm going to be an interior decorator. I'm going to, do other things. I'm going to offer all this stuff to my clients. And she's like, whoa, lady, settle down.
You sound like me.
So she helped me stay niched down. And, that's where the magic happens, is where you stay niched. She, taught me that service marketing really is important. So not just sales marketing. So every Monday, almost every Facebook group that you belong to, town Facebook group, so community or town Facebook group, every Monday, most groups allow companies to do a posting, an advertisement or a posting. And the rest of the week, they limit that. They don't want too much posting of companies and things like that. The rest of the
Right.
time, it's for community discussions. But on Mondays, Monday morning is your time to post. And that's kind of universal on Facebook.
Okay.
So that is not your time to say, hire me, buy from me, I'm the best professional organizer, whatever. That's your time to build your know, like, and trust factor and say, here's 5 tips for cleaning out your closet. Here's a picture from a before and after that I did. And here are the steps that I took to clean out this person's coffee table. Doesn't it look amazing? Here's, some valuable information that you can use. And then at the end, it says, if you're interested in booking a consultation with me, go ahead and click the link. But it's not buy. It's, here's some valuable information, so that you can set yourself apart as this expert. People remember those posts. They're valuable. They're value-based posts.
Okay. I like that. And I think I'm still in it, Allison's Facebook group. And she would always say, like, she would have her market days and she'd be like, don't just post a link, like, give us something, tell us something that's useful. And I'm like, and so now, like, hearing you say it, it's all putting it together. And I'm like, okay, now that makes sense. So like I said, I'm over here jotting down notes and the wheels in my head are already turning. And
Yeah, because once in a while it's fine to say, I've rebranded my website. Please check out my website. That kind of thing. But I used to be so one of the things that I worked with her on was, I had a meeting with her once and I said, I'm so desperate to get clients. And she said, that's your problem. People are smelling your desperation and it does not smell good.
I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think desperation smells too good. So I might have to
Yeah.
agree with her on
And
that one.
so I was like posting things like, this is my offer. Please take it. Oh, please let me come to your house and do this. Oh, I'll pay you. And, and when I changed my messaging to, I'm an expert, here's the value I can add to your feed, people started coming to me.
I guess it's kind of like a 2-parter or 3-parter maybe. So how does someone go about starting a blog or a podcast? And then, well, we'll start with that one. How does someone go about starting a blog or a podcast?
Okay, so I do have a blog on my website, and I also started a podcast. I thought that podcasting would be good for marketing. So far, it hasn't really brought a lot of customers to me. But the reverse is true. I can use it as valuable content for my customers. So I can refer my customers back to episodes, and I can say, oh, you're dealing with paper clutter, you should listen to number 15. Oh, you're dealing with playroom clutter, you should listen to number 18. Yeah, I'm making those numbers up. I don't remember what this one playroom clutter was. Wouldn't that be amazing if I did?
It would be. So everybody, make sure you search first when you go to, if you're looking about playroom clutter, make sure you
It's not 18.
Search. It's not 18, okay?
I think paper clutter is 15 though, because I think it is. But anyway, when I was, so I'll go back to the blog especially. So I really wanted to write a blog, and I was very obsessed with monetizing the blog. I thought, this is something I can monetize. I'm going to add ads to it. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do all this stuff. And in my planner, I was like doing a countdown every month to launching my blog, because I don't do anything until I'm prepared to do it. I'd written a few blogs, but I hadn't added them to my website yet, and I wasn't sure how to monetize. And I wrote down in my planner, I said, how do I make money? How do I make money writing a blog? And finally, I answered my own question literally in my book. And I said, just do it. And I launched the blog, and I just put it out there. Now, I have to say, I haven't monetized it yet. There are no ads on my blog, but I find that I like my blog better because there are no ads on my blog. There are so many blogs out there that have so many ads, you can't even read the blog.
Oh, yes.
It's so irritating. Whereas my blog has photos and interesting information, and it's valuable. And again, I can use it as a resource for clients. Oh, you're having this particular problem. Let me refer you to my blog. And then magically they're on my website.
Me too.
I am absolutely I knew I liked you. I make ads on Canva, and then I post them onto Pinterest. I made my Pinterest a business account. And so there's all these little steps. You have to make your Instagram a business Instagram. You have to make your Pinterest a business account. And then you can post things, and then you can add your blog to them. And then it becomes a searchable blog, and then you get traffic. And I learned how to do that from a book. I learned how to, and also just trial and error.
Well, I learned from Google in trial and error as well. So it's like, it's almost scary now, because I even more so, I'm starting to feel like we're the same person. So my journey is kind of similar to that. I had wanted to start a podcast for years, and I was like, oh, you need this equipment for it, and you have to have people that's going to actually follow you. Like, who's going to follow my podcast? And all of this was just going through my head. And finally one day I was like, I'm doing it. I think we came back from a trip, and I had sat down and I recorded my first episode, and then I just went with it. And then I was like, well, I want to do a blog too, because I like writing. And people were like, well, you can transcribe your podcast into a blog. And I was like, do I want to do that? That's just I feel like that's just putting information out there twice. So I started doing a blog on tips for public relations, because that's what my business specializes in. And so I said, I had the same thoughts. I was like, okay, how can I monetize this? How can I make money off of it? And when I first started my podcast, I'm looking, and I'm like, ooh, it says you need 1,000 people to listen or something like that in order to be able to get an ad. And I'm like, well, where am I going to get that from? And so I've been doing the podcast, I think, since April, and I've been doing the blog just maybe a little over a month, and I haven't monetized either one of them. But like you said, I actually kind of like it without ads, because nobody wants to scroll through all of that just to get to what it is. Nobody wants the ads to keep popping up while they're trying to scroll. And then even with podcasts, it annoys me when I'm really into a podcast, and then all of a sudden it stops and there's a 3-minute long ad, because they're doing so many ads back to back. And it's like, okay. And then you get back into it, and 5 minutes later, there's another ad. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm done.
With the blog, my aesthetic is clean and minimal and no clutter. Right. So that's what I teach my clients. And that's the goal that I have after I've worked on your house. So why would I put junky ads on my blog.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
bother you with that.
Yes, and I never thought about it like that until like I was just like, I like the clean look much better than that. So there's other ways to like monetize off of podcasts and blogs other than doing ads. So yeah, like I said, it's getting really scary here with all of our similarities. How do you scale a business?
How do you scale a business? I think you have to be bold. I think you have to be bold and creative. I have scaled my business by launching a blog. And honestly, Angel, the reason I launched a podcast was because I had knee surgery and I couldn't see clients for 3 months.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to continue working in my business, work
Right.
on your business and work in your business. And
Right.
I couldn't physically see clients. So I launched a podcast. And it's one of the favorite things now that I do with my business is this podcast. I'm 100% better, but I still do my podcast.
Yeah.
And so it's about being bold and creative, finding ways that your business can serve you. But remembering what my business coach says is to stay niched. Don't go somewhere just for the sake of going somewhere. Like I said, like I was ready to get certified and be an interior designer. I was going to offer all these services. And she's like, "Girl, what are you doing? Like you're a professional organizer. Like
Right.
that's what people want. That's what they're hiring, a professional bull rider and an interior designer and, jumping out of airplanes.
Right.
And, you don't need the ands.
Right.
You can
And
just
becoming an
do.
Olympic skater and
Right.
everything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa.
Slow down there.
Settle down.
Yes. Yes. You would definitely need like way more hours in your day to do all of that. So I like that. So bold and creative and just like finding ways to keep going, even when like,
I learn a lot from finding business influencers and marketers and joining their free email list. And so every day I get an email and I get a little nugget of business intuition and
Right.
suggestion. So they're all selling a course or something,
Right.
and I don't take their courses, but in their emails, they've got a little nugget of something that I'm going to take with them. And they're saying, today you should work on your email list. And then I say, yeah, today I should work on my email list. I should, and so I kind of borrow my inspiration from people who are smarter than me.
Okay. I like that. Because no matter how much you know, there's always somebody who knows more than you. And you can learn from anybody. So,
absolutely.
Everybody has something to teach someone. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, Maria, my last question before we go is, and you put this down as something that you wish people would ask you more. Where do you go from here?
Okay. So where do I go from here?
Yes.
Bliss, this house someday will be a brick and mortar store.
I love it.
Where I will run a beautiful business with bespoke organizing solutions and home decor products in a gorgeous store.
I love it. Why are you laughing? I love it. That is amazing.
That's my goal. I want a store.
Okay, you want a store. Listen, I'll be coming up for the grand opening. So I want to be there when you have the big scissors and cut the red ribbon. So
thank you. You'll be my first customer, Angel.
Oh, yes. So please let me know so that I can book my flight to Connecticut because it's going to happen. Like that's a wonderful vision and a wonderful dream. And if you just keep on the path that you're on, I truly believe that it will come true for you. Maria, is there anything else you would like to share before we go?
No.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This has been a crazy conversation. I just love it so much.
It has been. Oh,
I
go ahead.
love talking about entrepreneurship. It's not ever something that I thought that I was going to do. Funny story. I have a bachelor's degree in anti-terrorism and a master's degree in diplomacy and anti-terrorism.
Interesting. Nothing to do with organization.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with organization.
Nothing.
Like nothing. Like
yeah.
Absolutely. So I will say, if you find yourself in a job that you don't like, just remember life is long. You can have multiple careers. You can reinvent yourself as many times as you want and go after that dream. You can have a business and grow it and evolve it, and suddenly you're in your brick and mortar store.
Sure. Yes. Yes. With all your pretty decorations that, maybe I need, no, Connecticut's a long drive. I was like, maybe I need to drive up there so that I can bring back all the stuff, but I'll just have it. I'll have it shipped back home.
I'll ship it to you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, like, this has been a crazy, wonderful conversation. Like, you dropped so many nuggets of advice. I have all my notes and stuff over here, and I just cannot wait to like put some of this stuff into play. Like, you've helped me so much just sitting here talking. So I am so grateful for that. And will you please tell everyone where they can find you at?
So I do most of my hanging out on Instagram, which is at @blissthishouse_CT. And I also have a free and private Facebook group, which is called Home Organization with Bliss This House. So if you want to go onto Instagram and send me a DM and ask to join the Facebook group, it's like working with your own personal professional organizer. I do exclusive content on the Facebook group, so you can join that, and I'd love to work with you.
Okay, awesome. And I will link everything down in the show notes as well so that you all can find her, and make sure that you check out her podcast and check out her blog and just take everything that she said and just really sit down and let it marinate in there. So,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you. You're welcome. And thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Please share the episode with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review. 5-star ratings and reviews helps the Modco podcast get on other shows' recommendation lists and helps new listeners to find me. Your 5-star review may be read on an episode. Also, if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the show notes. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening. Please make sure to follow and rate the podcast whenever you listen.